Imagine picking up a history book that doesn't just challenge what you know, but completely shatters the very foundation of your reality. We're taught that human civilization started in the Fertile Crescent of Mesopotamia about 6,000 years ago. We're told that before that, we were just hunter-gatherers, struggling to survive the elements. But there is a document, a physical stone-etched receipt from the ancient world, that says everything we've been taught is a lie. This is the Sumerian Kings List. Found in the early 20th century among the ruins of ancient Iraq, this artifact is a prism of clay, covered in cuneiform script. It lists the rulers of Earth. But here's the glitch. It says the first 8 kings didn't rule for decades. They ruled for 241,200 years, each single one, ruling for nearly 30,000 years at a time. Mainstream historians call it a myth. They say it's poetic exaggeration. But the Sumerians, the people who gave us the wheel, writing, and advanced mathematics, didn't write it as a poem. They wrote it as a matter of record. No cap. Today, we're going 6,000 words deep into the forbidden dust of the past to uncover the secret of the Anunnaki and the kings who lived forever. This is our history. Stay sharp. This one is completely unhinged. To understand the magnitude of this mystery, you have to understand who the Sumerians were. They weren't just some random tribe. They were the first civilization to seemingly drop out of the sky with a fully formed society. They had complex laws, irrigation systems, and a mathematical system based on the number 60. The same system we still use to measure our time and our circles today. But when you ask the Sumerians where they got this knowledge, they don't take the credit. They point to the sky. They speak of the Anunnaki, those who from heaven to earth came. According to the list, the kingship descended from heaven and landed in a city called Eridu. The first king was Alulim. He ruled for 28,800 years. Think about that for a second. If a man rules for 30,000 years, he isn't just a king. He's a biological anomaly. In our modern world, the average human lifespan is about 75 to 80 years. Our biological clock is hard-coded to shut down. So how did Alulim and his successors bypass the laws of nature? Was the atmosphere of Earth different back then? Was there a higher concentration of oxygen? Or perhaps a protective canopy that shielded them from the radiation that ages us today? Or was their DNA simply different? Some researchers looking at this through the lens of the ancient astronaut theory suggest that these kings were not human at all. If an extraterrestrial or extra-dimensional being were to land on Earth, their perception of time would be fundamentally different. To us, 30,000 years is an eternity. To a being that travels through space at near light speeds, it might just be a long weekend. The Sumerians weren't just documenting legends. They were documenting the arrival of architects who were here to terraform the planet and jumpstart human evolution. But then, the script of history takes a dark turn. The list is divided into 2 distinct eras: before the flood and after the flood. The pre-flood kings are the ones with the impossible lifespans. But the moment the text mentions the Great Flood, the same flood mentioned in the Bible as Noah's Ark, everything changes. The list says, the flood swept over. After the water receded, the kingship descended from heaven once again. But the years started dropping. From 30,000 years to 1,200 years to 100 years. It's as if a switch was flipped. Something happened during that global catastrophe that broke the immortality of the rulers. For the 45-plus audience who grew up with a traditional education, this is where science and religion collide. The book of Genesis mentions patriarchs like Methuselah living for 969 years. The Sumerian Kings List and the biblical records are describing the same lost world. A first world where life was governed by a different set of rules. This leads us to a terrifying question. Did the Anunnaki deliberately shorten our lifespans? Did they tweak our DNA after the flood to make us more manageable, more short-lived, and less likely to challenge their power? Modern mainstream archaeology refuses to touch this. They call the pre-flood list mythological and the post-flood list historical. But how can the same stone tablet be half lie and half truth? Why would the Sumerians be 100% accurate about the names of cities and the post-flood kings, but suddenly hallucinate about the pre-flood ones? It doesn't make sense. The truth is usually more glitchy than we want to admit. If we look at the forbidden archaeology, we find stories of giants, of high-tech chariots in the sky, and of me. Mysterious objects that the gods carried which contained the blueprints of civilization. These aren't just stories. They are descriptions of technology by people who didn't have the words for computer, DNA, or aerospace. When the Sumerians said a king ruled for 40,000 years, maybe they were describing a title that was passed down through a specific bloodline. Or maybe they were describing a biological reality that we have simply forgotten. As we dig deeper into the Sumerian Kings List, we realize that the history they teach in schools is just the edited version. We are living in the ruins of a much older, much more mysterious world. A world where kings were gods, and time was just a suggestion. The Anunnaki might have left, but they left behind a receipt in the form of these clay tablets. They are a warning and a reminder that we are not the first, and we are certainly not the masters of our own timeline. So what do you believe? Were these 400,000-year-old kings just a product of ancient imagination? Or were they the original engineers of our race? Did they leave because of the flood? Or are they still here, watching us from the shadows of our own history? Drop a kings in the comments if you think the truth is being suppressed. We need to keep the conversation unhinged because mainstream science isn't going to give us the answers. If you're tired of the sugar-coated version of our past, hit that subscribe button and join the Aura History family. We're going to keep digging until we find the glitch that started it all. Stay curious, stay skeptical, and most importantly, stay unhinged. Peace.